Wait, what? Oh, not this again. England have become the first team to win Euro 2020 3 times. Gareth Southgate, you sensual don. I never doubted you for a second. So what's your opinion on Gareth Southgate? Always doubted him. At no point, the man's finished. I've never not doubted this man. I genuinely can't believe this, you know. I'm actually speechless in this situation. As an England fan, right, I'm sure a lot of you will understand this. We usually find the first opportunity to f up everything. But look at us.
Who would have thought? Not me.
England are through to the quarterfinals of Euro 2020.5, the sequel, after a 2-0 victory over the enemies who don't consider us enemies whatsoever, Germany.
Yes! Yes! Now hold it!
Raheem Sterling was on the score sheet once again.
Across for Sterling!
And that was followed by a second from Harry Kane just 10 minutes later. And you know what? I'm happy for Harold. After a pretty shocking and underwhelming tournament so far, he turned into a completely different version of himself this summer. But having gone from the peripherals of every game that he's been involved in so far in this tournament to getting that goal and breaking that duck, he must have had some kind of epiphany. I simply have to score for these glorious fans.
You fucking shit, mate. What the fuck?
And Raheem Sterling with his 3rd goal of the tournament so far, proving the doubters, including myself, wrong. There were times where it was frustrating once again, but ultimately, if he keeps scoring, can we really complain?
Have I justified my selection?
Both him and Harry Kane are now proof that bullying does in fact work. I'm happy for him though, even if the editor of the Daily Mail is unlikely to share my opinion on seeing him score again.
Oh, fuck.
English Prime Minister Boris Johnson seemed to be enjoying the show until realising that that now means 50% of England's squad can't now be deported. The enjoyment of German supporters though, not so much. Oh man, you know what? I feel sorry for this kid, but it is a tiny bit funny because we've all been there. Experiencing this crippling football-related depression from the earliest possible age is exactly what the beautiful game is all about. Here I was, aged 9, realising that Charlie Adam had the turning circle of a fridge freezer. A lot of people were getting annoyed at England fans finding this picture funny. If anything, the German national team tweeting out, "Die Englander," is far worse, really. Jurgen Klopp, however, was loving life. And one newsreader even actually believed this was really the Liverpool manager and not just a lookalike.
As I was going into the stadium last night, I caught up with Jurgen Klopp as well, the Liverpool manager. Of course, he is German. He was a great sport yesterday, chatting to many of the England fans as well. And even after the match, he was on the shoulders of some England supporters drinking a can of beer just here.
Sorry, how do you fall for this? The man is literally German. Why would he be celebrating with England fans? He needs to be careful as well, this guy. One more public appearance and Spurs will be trying to hire him as their next manager. Elsewhere, and rapper Stormzy was watching with fans at Box Park in Croydon and agreed that if England won the game against Germany, he would go back to a random house party set up by other supporters there. You know what happened next? I've not seen him pull up to a house unannounced this quickly since he rolled up on chip.
No one ain't gonna phone you, Stormzy. You're disrespectful, bro.
And you know what happens at an international tournament? An animal is picked out of a hat at random and given the task of predicting the entire tournament. In this situation, it was an elephant, and it predicted that Germany would win this round of 16 fixture. Back off, you little fucking dickhead. I'll box you in your big old nose, lad. No, I'm sorry. Look, listen, I didn't mean it. I'd like to issue a formal apology here for insinuating that I would box up an innocent animal. Address the elephant in the room, if you will. I showed a lack of class, and quite frankly, the big nose comment was out of order because I have a big nose as well. Thomas Muller suggested that in England, fans wanting football to come home so desperately, they were building up a false sense of confidence for what their players could actually do against Germany here. It's a beautiful day. They call me Thomas Muller, is he? All jokes aside, I physically had a heart attack when Raheem Sterling gave that away and Muller was bearing down on goal. No amount of drinkable yogurt in an overtly small bottle would have lowered my cholesterol level there. Can someone actually just arrest this man? No wonder he can't make good tactical decisions anymore. He's picked the brain out from his nose. And speaking of the tactical battle, opinions on the game overall. From a neutral perspective, it was great for the tacticians, but not a very entertaining game. It really only sparked into life in the last 20 minutes. With the goal obviously for Raheem Sterling, then the miss for Thomas Muller, and then the second goal from Harry Kane. But I want to sing the praises of Gareth Southgate, okay? Because when he gets it wrong, when he's too tentative with the first people to jump at his throat, and quite rightfully, sometimes there are games that we need to be more positive and we need to take command of the football match. Scotland, for example, even to an extent the Czech Republic. We won that game 1-0, but as soon as we went 1-0 up, we sat back and just allowed the game to peter out. Which is great, I guess, in tournament football, but just to show some kind of positivity is nice. But in this game, setting up with the 5 at the back and setting up with the midfield that he did was genuinely a masterstroke. Now, it doesn't take a genius to work out that playing 5 at the back or 3 centre-backs with wing-backs was the correct approach here, especially if you watched any of the game of Germany versus Portugal. I know that Nelson Semedo defends like a year 7 from Botswana, but it was quite evident that he was being pulled more centrally by players like Kai Havertz, whilst the Robin Gosens or the Joshua Kimmich on the other side were running into stupid amounts of space. They were just switching the ball in between each other, and then a ball gets put into the box for someone to tap in or for an own goal in certain instances. So playing a 4 against them unless we defended incredibly well was literally never going to work. So playing the 5 was excellent. I thought Maguire, Stones and Walker were all excellent. I didn't actually think Shaw was that great in the first half. I'm sure stats will prove me to be wrong, but in the second half, undoubtedly, he was a key figure in both of our goals. And as I said, nullifying those wing-backs was so key. We basically stopped them from having any chances or creating any real opportunities through purely their system alone. The Timo Werner chance in the first half was probably the only real opportunity created from their actual good play, because the Havertz shot was a bit of a half opportunity, and then the chance for Muller was created by our own failings. But Jordan Pickford was astounding. Like, genuinely, I know Everton fans will say that he's good for Everton, but for me, he does turn into a different goalkeeper when he's playing on international duty. Gary Neville taking it a little bit too far, though. Think he's a little bit young to be your mum. But it wasn't just the defensive side of the squad that was impressive. Calvin Phillips was brilliant in midfield. I actually thought that he should have started with Mason Mount rather than Phillips. That was the only change that I said at the start of the game he should have made. But honestly, prove me wrong. Phillips has been great all tournament, don't get me wrong, but I did maybe think that it would be a little bit too hesitant having him there rather than Mason Mount. Calvin Phillips even ended Toni Kroos's international career. The Real Madrid cultured midfielder is expected to hand in his resignation from the German national team this week. After his comments about Chelsea, Mason Mount will be loving that news. And Bukayo Saka only featured really for the first 60 minutes of the game, but he was brilliant when he was on the pitch. Jack Grealish obviously came on to replace Bukayo, and his performance, scintillating.
What? I don't know what that means.
Meanwhile, one noticeable exemption from all sorts of playing activity once again was Jadon Sancho. The Borussia Dortmund winger at this point simply must have burnt waistcoats in front of Gareth, because there is no other explanation. Even Erling Haaland was calling for him to be brought on at half-time. But after the game, and Marcus Rashford may have been enjoying himself a little bit too much, because it seemed like he was on the bevs. When asked about Jadon Sancho by multiple Manchester United fans, he seemed to give hints that the deal was done and that Jadon would be signing for the Red Devils this summer. I'm afraid to tell you, Jadon, I don't think Maya lives in Manchester, but I'm sure you can get the train. So what next for England? We face Ukraine in the quarterfinals. We're a great team, resilient. We need to be careful of the likes of Zinchenko, Yarmolenko, Yaramchuk, but overall we are favourites for that game, and if we don't win, it will be a massive disappointment. After that, we face either Denmark or the Czech Republic. The Czech Republic, who we've beaten already in this tournament, or a Denmark side that genuinely have real quality. I said this before the tournament even started. Italy, for me, are the favourites. They haven't lost a game in competitive fixtures in so long. Belgium, always a threat with Lukaku and De Bruyne linking up, and Spain found goals, 10 of them Belgium, in fact, in the last 2 games after struggling. But all of those squads have their weaknesses. Belgium and Spain, for me, are not great defensively. Belgium because they're aging, and Spain because of the personnel. Laporte and Pau Torres. Laporte is a great defender, but not the most sharp right now, having not played that much for City this season. And Pau Torres does not like aerial challenges. Italy... yeah, big man, we're fucked if we face them. All I'm gonna say is, once again, football is coming home. The boys have done us proud. They need to continue to do us proud in the quarterfinals. We have to be winning that game realistically. But that is it for today. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. Slap a like on it if football is coming home. And subscribe if you are new to the channel. You can also follow me on social media. It is at @theofficialfng on Twitter and on Insta. But it has been an absolute pleasure ranting at you guys today. Have a wonderful day, enjoy yourselves, and goodbye.